What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out this episode of Chewin the Rag. Before we get started, just a couple of cool quick announcements. First and foremost, at ChewinTheRag.com, same place where you find all of our platform links, social media, email for contact, and the gaming channel. There's now a section for merch. So if you click the merch link, it'll bring you to our web store where we have hoodies, t-shirts, water bottles, mugs, stickers, magnets, literally anything you could think of, we probably have it there. So be sure to go to chewintherag.com to pick up a piece of merch and make sure to like, rate, share, and subscribe on any of those platform links that you listen to us. It helps myself out, and more than that, it helps these guys out that I bring in that I think have cool things to promote. The more eyes on me, the more eyes on them, and it kind of helps the whole community, which is what this is really all about. Second, W Energy, good clean energy. Drink it every morning. I wear their merch. I have their hat on right now as we speak. I'm using their mouse pad. I highly support W. It's kind of helped me get away from coffee a little bit. I drink my W between like 6:30, 7 a.m. and I'm good until late afternoon, whereas I was drinking multiple cups of coffee a day. So W.GG and use promo code Chewin at checkout to get yourself some good, clean energy. Again, that's W.GG, promo code Chewin, no G, Chewin, Chewin at checkout. And one last thing, I am doing one more comedy show. I said I wouldn't, but I'm doing one more. Cairo, New York. It is September 24th, and it will be at the Old Factory Brewing Co. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all proceeds go to benefit hospice. So one more show. This is it. Not doing another one. Old Factory Brewing Co. in Cairo, New York, and that's a few months from now, September 24th. Thank you guys, and be sure to go into the description of this video while we are rather talking about charity. Donate money to help the kids in all my videos, or Spotify, all the descriptions wherever you're listening. There's a GoFundMe link. Donate some money, help the kids. They also have an event early September, and I believe if you click the GoFundMe, it goes into that a little bit more. So come support those guys, support myself later that month to benefit hospice. And thank you guys again for checking out this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Chewin the Rag. We got one more solo coming your way. Next week, we'll be back with a guest. We'll have my guy T. Philly out in Arizona. He's been skateboarding for about 20 years now. So we're going to have a conversation with him, talk a little skateboarding, what it's done for him. I skated a lot throughout middle school and high school. I haven't done it in years. Probably going to pick one up soon for my son and then hurt myself because naturally that's how things go. So it'll be fun to just kind of talk to him just about skateboarding in general and have a conversation with him, revisit like probably old skate videos, stuff like that. So looking forward to doing that. But for now, we got another solo coming your way. We got a couple questions that came in, not too many. I don't think too many. I'll double check. Questions that came in, something that came up the other day, which was, let's just jump right into that. So we were talking about, I can't remember the name, Wendy Puffercorn and Squints. I'm not even trying to be funny. I guess they're from the Sandlot. So my buddy sent something about them two reuniting, and I said, who the hell is that? And I meant it. And it was in a group chat. Another buddy goes, oh, great. You just opened a can of worms. I said, what? I don't know who the hell it is. And he said, well, it's from Sandlot. Makes sense. I've seen it like once. And the only thing I know about it is the ball goes over the fence and there's a dog, which apparently, according to them, is like the whole plot. So I know the whole plot. I don't know. I get all that. And then I was like, wait, is she the lifeguard in that one movie? And he goes, no, that is that movie. And I said, what? And he said, that is that movie. It's the mouth-to-mouth scene. And quite literally, if there was a trivia night and that question came up and it was like, what movie is this scene from? And they played that scene. It was like $1 million question. I would have done like the whole dramatic thing, like in the cartoons, they take like the breath mint spray and that. I would have done one of those, fix my eyebrows, fix my hair, fix my little tie, crack the old knuckles, raised my hand and said Little Rascals. And I would have got laughed out of the venue because I swear to God, and I'm 30 years old. This isn't like, it's just those movies aren't really your time. I'm 30 years old, and I thought this whole time the lifeguard scene, the mouth-to-mouth like French kiss or whatever the hell it was, I thought that was Little Rascals. And they were like, "Are you being serious?" I was like, I'm not kidding. 100% I would have got that wrong. I would have lost my family because they would have been like, that was the easiest $1 million you could have had. You're brain dead. We're out. We can't do this. Like all those movies, like The Little Giants, Little Rascals, Sandlot, like those, they're all just kids doing something. It all just fucking mixes in my head. I can't keep up with any of them. I saw probably all of them once as far as I can remember. So I don't know. It all blended in. They looked at me like I was the asshole, which I guess I kind of am because anybody listening to this who's watched those movies would tell you, like, no, that's definitely the Sandlot. I couldn't do it. So they were like, that's insane. It asked me to bring it up on here because I get a lot of like feedback from episodes and whatnot. And they were like, just have people write in. So, you know, you can go in the YouTube comments, you can go on the Discord, link in the description for both of those things. And just like, write, like, am I the asshole here? I think I am. I 100% think I am, but they want, my friends' goals are always to confirm that I'm the asshole. That's all. That's our whole friend group is like, I know you're wrong, but I want to prove you're wrong. That's literally 90% of being friends with us, which is, it's fun because that's kind of my mindset too. Not in like a dickhead way, but it's just basic little competition thing. But yeah, I don't know. First of all, I still don't think that peppercorn, I think it was. I could probably pull it up. Wendy, I kept calling her Puffercorn, and apparently I was the asshole. But whatever. We're late August here. We've got a couple more weeks until I want to kind of push this a little bit for Dave because he came on here, and I know he's probably once an event like that. Like for me, I have the comedy show at the end of September that I talked about in the intro of this video. As the date approaches, when I get like 2 weeks away from that, I'm really going to be like, okay, it's kind of settling in that 2 weekends from now, I got to get up there and I got to tell jokes. So I know for him, he has an event, Family Rec Center at Cook Park, which is right in like Colony, New York, Latham area, if you're in this area. And it's a whole like fingerboard to fight back thing. We talked about it in our episode, me and Dave Totai. But if you're new here, he's a pro fingerboarder. And his idea, I actually got this from his sponsor this year from Loco. I don't do this. I never really got into it, but you know, it was cool to have this. So this is a design on ChewinTheRag.com. If you shop our merch, that's on there. And he made this for me and he gave me a little care package. So like that whole community is really supportive to me. And they have this event September 2nd for, it's like children's cancer awareness. So the goal is to raise a bunch of money, donate it to, I believe it's Albany Med. And kind of like they have a bunch of care packages with fingerboards and I think obstacles, sticker packs, a bunch of different things. So if you go to the description in this video or Spotify, wherever you're listening, there's a link for a GoFundMe. If you can't be there in person at this event in a couple weeks, then you can just donate to that GoFundMe. It's all going to the Children's Hospital Fund that I was talking about. And his mindset on it, which made sense, him and I believe it's his wife, I believe they're married, was like these kids in hospitals, they're kind of just hanging out, sitting around. They're not really like able to, they're not high energy or anything. It's really easy to just take this, and I apologize for the noise you're about to hear, but like just take this and rub it along like a desk, rub it along, you know, an armchair, whatever they're doing in there, and just kind of have fun with it. So he was like, the same community that's reaching out for me and helping me out, I can use that and help these guys out. I'm not going to harp on it too much, but it is cool. It is coming up, so I want to talk about it a little bit just to promote Dave and what he's doing. And listen to his episode. Listen to Loco. His was most recent. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Dave's is pretty early on, but check those guys out, how they got into fingerboard and what it's done and what they're doing with that community. Yeah, it's really cool. I think that event, I think it's going to be pretty big. It's getting a lot of shares. It's got a lot of like a following. The GoFundMe's up past $1,000. Let's try to push it beyond that. Let's try to not hit his goal. Let's go past his goal. I think that'll be pretty cool for him, and he gets to present that in just a couple weeks. So September 2nd, right in Latham at that address I said there. What do we got? Some questions. I think I only have one actually. Okay. I must have answered the other ones a week or two ago. I want to do like 3 to 5 at a time, but sometimes I just get going and I just keep the email. But I want to do better at spacing those out. Here's a question for the pod. Did you see the video of Rudy Giuliani dressed in drag flirting with Donald Trump? No. Should I have? Should I? Let's watch it together. I won't watch it with sound because I don't want YouTube to do the whole YouTube thing with me. But Rudy Giuliani, is it the Masked Singer? Is that what it is? No, it's not that. This is probably really boring for you guys. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Okay, here we go. What? Oh, this is old because that's like a younger. It's not really young. This is from 7 years ago. I've never seen this. So what do we got? I don't know if he wanted me to watch it or if he just wanted like to know. I mean, you don't ask somebody that and that they say no. Say, well, okay, you're gonna say like watch it. So let's see. Long lost foot. What the? I don't even know if I'm allowed to like. So he's sniffing. That's Rudy Giuliani. So I'm not watching with sound. Does he know that's who? Like it's obviously a joke, right? He performed the skit with Donald Trump for a charity dinner where the real. Oh, okay. So it was a skit. That's insane. No, I have not seen that, Loco, and kind of wish I didn't. That's a little bit insane. Who is Rudy Giuliani? That was the mayor for New York, right? New York City, New York. Yeah, it definitely was. Okay. No, have not seen that. That's insane. It looks like it's really old, so I don't know how I haven't seen it, but I should ban you from asking questions for making me look at Rudy Giuliani in drag and Donald Trump motorboating him. So thank you for that. I wish I never had to see that. But yes, now I can answer you truthfully. I have seen it and not with sound. Didn't do a little watch along. I don't think people need to see that. I just don't know how YouTube's gonna take it. Like, am I gonna get like copyright thing? They've been so bad with that. I've been streaming video games and usually they'll hit me with a thing from like the music in the game, but because it's like a part of the game, I get like what is it, like they're allowed to use the intellectual property or whatever it is, so I don't get hit with anything. But like occasionally they do, like it's a hard warning, and I'm just why I'm playing a game. I have to have the sound off because like I don't hear it anyway. When I stream, I usually play games with the volume pretty low because I have the text from the game come through my headset so I can hear, so I'm not sitting there reading what I'm doing. So like I don't even hear it. And then when the stream is done and it's posted to YouTube, because that's where I stream mostly, I'll get hit with a copyright thing. It's like, what do you want? It's a lose-lose for me. Like, I guess what I could do is just since I don't listen to it anyway, I'll just go through and turn the music off. But YouTube's so like just bad with a lot of things, to be honest. I mean, I think I talked about it on here before, like the Theo Von thing where he uploaded his whole episode to Twitter, and that's when I learned that, oh, I could do that too. You guys probably follow me on there if you don't. If you go to the Rag Pod, I believe, on Twitter, which using Twitter, I played a game. You know, we're talking about streaming. I just recently streamed me getting destroyed by Dez Bryant in Madden, and we had a bet. So the bet was if I beat him, he has to come on here for 15 minutes and, give me the time of day. He doesn't have to do that. I will hold up my end of the bargain. So he's doing a lot of stuff off field for athletes right now. For those that don't know who he is a retired Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, and he currently does a lot of work off of the field as a retired athlete. He has 2 projects. He has the Personal Corner project and he has the High Point Tracker. So yesterday on Twitter, he was in a space and he was talking about like what made him start all these. In his words, essentially, I wish I like screenshotted this and talked about it. I might be able to pull up a written part of it. Give me 1 second. It's really about athletes don't really get to use their own likeness and things, The NFLPA, for example, you have to kind of do everything through them, and they don't make it easy to do it. The NFL kind of wants to own your likeness, own your image. You're not really your own person making your own dollar off of that, essentially, from what I gather, from what I understand. And he was like, well, that just isn't right. As somebody who was in that position, I did sign with Jumpman and I was in that position, and I have bet on myself and I have won because of that. And, you take losses as well. You go full year on these endorsements where you don't actually make any money. You're just kind of there. and then you learn, like, I think that's when he was talking about he trademarked his, like, throw up the X, like after a touchdown he threw up the X and people hit him with the X all the time. It's a whole big thing, and he trademarked that and made money off that, and he had his own merch line and whatnot. So what he's doing now, I think he's creating a whole, I wish I knew a little bit more. I have to reach out to him so I could fully do this in another episode, but I'm just introducing the fact because I did lose to him. I do have to make content on this and hold up my end. What he's doing, he has like this whole fantasy football thing, unlike any other fantasy that you've done before. He's priding himself on that, where it's called High Point Tracker, which is right here. Da-da-da. So it's got casual and competitive fantasy sports play with rewards, experiences, and it's made by pro athletes. So it's guys like, you have all these fantasy apps right now, which are just run by, like, maybe it's a casual football fan that thinks he knows more than he actually does because he played fantasy for fucking 25 years or whatever it might be. I don't know. Don't care. I mean, ESPN has their own leagues. So you have like your indie leagues and your big leagues. And now you have High Point Tracker, which is a whole new thing. And it's run and made by athletes for people. So it's going to be more legitimate. I think he debuted this at a Fantasy Football Expo where he played, pick up games of flag with people and a whole bunch of stuff there. So they have a whole link tree. If you go to linktr.com/personal corner, they give you a fantasy guide. They give you news, like personal corner news here. Use the pause. I'm doing this kind of as we do here. So don't want to do that. Showcasing High Point. So they had a booth. They set it up. Fantasy football experience that bridges the gap between athletes and fans. Boom. That makes sense. It's made by athletes for fans. So it's different than those because it empowers athletes. Here's what I was looking for. So if you have an Austin Eckler on your team, it empowers that athlete because they can control their name, image, likeness, like I was talking about. And you kind of have a genuine sense of ownership kind of on yourself. You know what I mean? The whole thing down to how does an athlete make money after football or even during football? Like he works with Pollard, Diggs, I think Jefferson, I think Trey White. It's a bunch of different people, not just Cowboys players, but players from all over the league. And it's like, he wants them to take back the brand. Being a player is not just being a player. Being a player, you go get hurt, you break your leg, your pension is shot. It's really, athletes have come forward talking about their NFL pension, and it's not great. The way the franchise tag works in the NFL, I forget who was talking about it. West Coast Cowboy, I think it was, on Twitter, in that same space. The way the franchise works, like what they did with Lamar Jackson, he was able to go out and he could pursue an opportunity with another team and then present like the dollar amount. Say he went to the Titans and the Titans gave him a number that they were willing to pay. He could go back to the Ravens and say, look, you guys can franchise tag me, but these guys are offering me this. And then the Ravens could say, you know what, we'll pay you that or more, whatever it was. And that shouldn't be, I forget what it's called. Sorry. But that shouldn't be an exception, or it shouldn't be a piece. That should be what it is. Because you have guys like the running backs who had to sit on a Zoom call and all say, like, obviously there's collusion somewhere because no owner wants to pay running backs right now. It's obviously agreed upon by the owners. Nobody wants to pay running backs. We're all getting franchise tagged and we're just going to get released and cut and then have to go take a $6 million deal eventually when, there's other guys making 20 plus mil. And people say, like, well, running backs get hurt. They run themselves into the ground, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, isn't that a reason to pay them because they get hurt and eventually their careers will get cut short and the NFL pension is a joke? So I think that's another thing. He was really like passionately talking about the Jonathan Taylor thing where they're telling him you're not worth this dollar amount and you can go seek a trade now, but we want like first round picks, a player, third round pick. Like they want a whole package. Like, you can't tell me I'm not worth this dollar amount and then say I am worth 2 first rounders, a player, a third rounder, and then they're gonna have to pay this full contract. Like you can't have it both ways, but NFL owners, they can have it both ways because there's nothing to stop that. So I think that's a lot of like what corner is trying to do. Just take back your likeness, have an opportunity to stick up for yourself. And the NFLPA, he's releasing like emails from them they're cracking down on him in regard to the what's it, High Point Tracker, sorry, the fantasy football app. The NFLPA has sent like emails saying like, look, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's like, well, why not? Intellectual property cards, players, you express you intend to create one for every player. The NFLPA is the exclusive licensor of the NFL player intellectual properties, right there. So the NFLPA is the owner of your intellectual property. So if I played for the Cardinals, you can't make a fucking me and every other player on my team, as well as players that I play against, because the NFLPA owns my likeness. And when it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It's all really backwards. There's a reason why like other sports can't really adopt rather that franchise tag the NFL has, and it's because the athletes in those sports would no way and fuck deal with that. Meanwhile, NFL athletes, like these football players, they run themselves into the fucking ground nonstop. So it's pretty cool. Check out Personal Corner. Check out High Point Tracker. Follow Dez Bryant. Linktr.com/personal corner. We'll give you all that information. And Dez, you got lucky. Except you didn't. He destroyed me. I have it up on stream at Pinchworm Gaming on YouTube. It's not great. He ended up quitting, and I don't blame him because it was just not fun. It's like, and I play Mutt. I play competitively online all the time. But he got me. And then him and Micah Parsons played, and they had a bet. And if Dez lost, Dez said he would give up his suite for 3 fans so they could come up into his suite at the home opener and watch a game. And Dez did end up losing, so they're doing something with that too. So they do a lot for fans, and you could argue more importantly for players. So check that out. Hopefully I did this somewhat justice. I rambled. I knew a little bit about it already. Well, Personal Corner I knew a little bit about because I started following it when it happened. Because I think it was when like Parsons and Diggs were the first 2 signed, I think. But High Point Tracker is still kind of new to me. I don't really play fantasy. I've done it for 2 seasons. I didn't really like it. I'm not gonna do it again. But so I kind of did my research after losing that game, and then just did a little bit of research on the podcast with you guys, reading about it, pulling up the links. So it was fun though. I enjoyed playing against him. He's a cool dude. I DM'd him and I was like, look, you won. I'll make the content. I'll tag in it, whatever you want. So it is what it is. Congrats, Dez. I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty cool that Twitter even has those spaces. I don't really use them a lot. I probably should. They're essentially just podcasts, right? Like, so I could start up a space and 15 people can come in. I got 4 speakers and I speak, mute myself. It's like a big Zoom call kind of too. It's really cool. And then people, your followers can just kind of jump into your space and they can hear what you guys are saying. So I do like that they did that. I listened to a little bit of it yesterday and I was like, okay, I never saw the point of spaces, but now I kind of get it. I literally felt like just listening to a podcast, which is pretty cool. So I don't know, maybe I'll pop into a couple more. I don't think I'd ever start one because I don't really understand why I would. If more listeners followed me on Twitter and they asked for something like that, like a weekly spaces where we all just kind of, it'd be a live podcast pretty much where we all kind of go in and bullshit and talk and just don't talk over each other, mute, have a conversation. I would do that, but it would require a lot of listeners to want to do that. I almost said the side. I almost said Zero Dark 30 that I was even going to say that, but I did. Dark Horse 6. I think he's starting something up that I don't want to advertise yet, but soon I will be talking about that, and I might bring him back on. He just got back from Buffalo. 2 weeks of drill or whatever. Our episode was pretty popular. Got a lot of good feedback, so I think I'll bring him back on, and if he's comfortable bringing up what he wants to do or what he's considering, he can do that. He's insane. So he went to Buffalo. And I don't love these solo episodes. I'm not going to lie. I have more fun feeding off somebody because I can't tell if an episode's going well. And people would say it is. Like, they're like, oh, I really liked what you said here. And the listeners are the listeners. I have like a pretty loyal group of people that'll come to me and comment every week and DM me, or they're in the Discord now. I'm trying to grow that. So it's cool. But like, I don't have a lot of fun doing this, and I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. So That's great. ADHD. There's definitely something going on up there. That oh, wow. I don't even know what I was talking about. Solo episodes aren't fun. I said something right before that. Oh, sorry. Chris. Chris, he's insane. So I like these solo episodes. That's what I'm saying. And he went to Buffalo, and that's like from where we are, it's like 4+ hours. And he's like, yeah, I just got done. I was listening to Chewin the Rag on the way up, but I'm like, dude, that's like the first of all, it's all mostly been solo for the past few weeks. So it's just this nonstop. And I know like they're not all the same episodes. I'm not saying the same thing, and some are funnier than others, but still, it's like, bro, you had to have. Please tell me you listen to something in between, because if not, 4 hours, I'm pretty monotone. I don't really, besides the episode where like I rapped or I used accents or I made jokes like that, like I don't really change my voice. Just listening to that for 4 hours is wild. And we definitely need to do a part 2 of our episode so that we can touch on why you're a psychopath and we'll put yourself through that. Speaking of reoccurring guests, I haven't done a Minutes with Mello in a while. I have to reach out to him. He's been busy. I've been busy. Hopefully with that going, or we'll do something else. You'll see a couple guests that are coming back. Soki, I watch his stream every night. I don't watch the full thing. He's a trooper. He does like 7 to like past 10 p.m. And your boy's got to sleep. I can't do all that. But I proposed something to him yesterday because he was doing, I do questions. And on stream, he was like, you know what, guys? Why not? We're all just here. Do like an AMA. Do an Ask Me Anything. And questions were trickling in. So I just commented. I was like, why don't we do a part 2 of our episode? But, I'll bring you back on. It's not a part 2. I'll bring you back on. We'll do another episode together. I already kind of promoted your stream. People know who you are. Talked about you buying the hat from me. I tell people check you out. Whatever. We don't need to talk about that. But these people that are asking you questions on stream, have just stockpile them. Keep them aside. Keep having them asked you. And I'll get some questions. And people can kind of get to know us on a more. I mean, I know me, like you guys probably know pretty much all there is to know. I talk about myself a lot. I tell you guys stories about growing up. But if something that you are interested in or that hasn't come up, email me, ChewinTheRagPod@gmail.com. And ask questions for Epsoki as well. Check Epsoki out on twitch.tv/Epsoki. I'll put his thing in the description as well. If you have questions for somebody who's a consistent streamer, if you want to start streaming or how they got into streaming, or just questions about his personal life outside of streaming, you can go on his stream and ask questions. He's on after 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to like after 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Get to know him a little bit. Ask him some questions. Ask me some questions, because we'll schedule that episode soon. And I think I'll do that with a couple people. We'll just bring them back on and have those conversations. And, you might remember Dark Horse, for example, from, he talked about streaming and firefighting and the Army. Why don't you ask some questions about that now that he's back? So I'll schedule these guests, and then I'll gather questions for them based on what they do. And I think I'll get a lot of cool episodes about that, or with that rather. So I'm looking forward to that. Epsoki's is definitely coming up. And like I said, T Philly will be the next guest on here, barring any scheduling issues. So we'll get to learn a little bit about what got him into skateboarding and talk skate culture and all that. Oh man, what else is new? These are pretty good. Down East Brewing, I think it is. They have like these slushy, like red slushy, blue slushy, and white slushy. I also got like a Dexter's Lab thing from another brewing company that I can't think of. I'm like, the past like few times I went and got drinks, they've been sours. And I think what happens is, well, I know what happened is originally my son was picking them out for me. I'd bring him to the beverage center with me. And sours, if you look at sours, like this is a nice little, it's got the slushy straw, slushy. The Dexter's Lab thing is like cartoony. Sours always have like really cool cans. So that's what my son would pick out. And I'm like, all right, I'll pick that one out. That's what I'll try. Obviously he wasn't drinking them. Let's all relax. He was just picking them out. He gets a Liquid Death every time. So he gets a can of something too. But he'll pick those out, and I've like they really are good. Like they're good tasting drinks. So like the more he did that, the more I was drinking sours, and now I'm like, anytime I go, that's what I buy now. So I tried those, and they're really good. I'm a fan. Lenny actually posted on a story. He had a blue slushy, and I was like, what the hell is that? And he was like, Down East, and I was like, I know what I'm getting next time. And I got the variety pack with all three. And the white slushy has like that alcohol taste the most of all of them. The red and blue slushy, I think, have a lot of good flavor though. I'm getting tattooed tomorrow. Looking forward to that. It's been a while. So the last tattoo I got was just some like, I'll just show you. So there's like, I have this whole tiger up here. I don't really reveal much because I don't wear tank tops. But the last time I went, I just got a lot of the black done. Tomorrow is going to be hopefully focusing on getting this guy colored in. Once that's done, this is pretty much all set. We got like the inner bicep. We got to figure out what we want to do. I'm going to get a job stopper right on the hand there. Don't care. I'm just going to finish that whole from hand up. Just finish that. I don't like the idea of the joke is, I mean, the name of it is job stopper, but like I had teachers in high school who had the hand tattoos and all they did was just stick like, one of those big like flesh colored band-aids, you just stick it on your hand, you're good. So anytime I have to be like presentable, I'll do quotes because I think it's stupid to in 2023 we're still talking about tattoos not being presentable. But anytime I have to do something like that, I'll just throw like I said, a big band-aid on my hand. Somebody asks what happens if I cut my hand, whatever. Who cares? I'm not really worried about that. And then after that, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some sort of like train ran on me. I'm gonna get some sort of train tattooed on my forearm on the other side. I've talked about this before. If you're new here, I'll just touch on it. Trains have always like interestingly enough been a part of like from when I was a kid to now. So my grandmother worked on trains for 20 plus years. So I was constantly at Amtrak, constantly on trains. I went when I was like in kindergarten, sat on a guy's lap. I liked it. No, sat on a guy's lap while he was like messing with the lever, driving the train. So I got to like do that, play with it. And I did that up until like, well, I didn't sit on the guy's lap up until like, but I was going to Amtrak up through adulthood when she was still alive working there. I applied there. I tried to get a job there, realized I did not want to be a conductor, but that's a whole different thing. Teenager, my grandmother lived in a trailer park. The train went through behind her park all the way down to like the neighboring parks. So what I would do if my grandmother wasn't on a ride, we would go to the train tracks and wait for a train to come by, grab alongside of it, run, pull yourself up, jump off at the park 2-3 miles down the road, a mile or two, I don't know. It was between 1 and 3 miles. It probably seemed longer because I was a kid, but definitely a mile or more. And then you roll off because it rolls, there's a tracks and there's 2 slopes on each side. You just jump off, roll down the slope, you're good to go. And then now I live near train tracks. My son's got a million train toys. He's liked trains since he was a baby. So now you ask him what he wants for his birthday. I want a model train. Okay, well, I'm not going to tell your godfather, your uncle, your mom, whatever. I'm not going to tell all these people that you want model trains. These are like $200 plus. $200 is cheap. So what else do you want? Oh, well, give me like a little train set. Okay, sure. He's the easiest kid to buy for because like he literally will. Like for me, I don't want to just get him all train stuff. That's so boring. But he loves that stuff. So it's like, I mean, if that's what he likes, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to get it. But I tried to get him. He mentioned a skateboard. He's been playing with this little fingerboard thing. So I was like, you got to get a real skateboard. He goes, I can? So yeah, of course you can. I'm going to ride it too. Whatever. We can get it. But yeah, his obsession with trains is what made me say like, all right, well, obviously they're here. I've been around trains since I was his age and now he likes them and I'm 30. So I'll get a train tattooed on me. So I'm going to get, I don't know if I want like a passenger train or I was going to ask him, but I think it'll be like kind of like cool surprise if I just come home with it. Cause he does like point out the tattoos like, oh, dragon. Is that supposed to be me? It's just, let's just do a little tattoo show. Why not? So there's how do I do this from here? There's a little flash. Sorry about your ears. There's a little flash that says his name. My legs got tattoos on them. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do like something in the Discord where I just post each tattoo. And I don't do one of those meaning things. So don't ask me the meaning for any. 2 of the tattoos on my legs are get what you gets. They were for charity. So they're throwaways. I got an old dirty bastard tattoo on my leg. My legs are just like ideas that I have that I don't think would be great visible. That's what my legs are. It's you get, sure, why not? We'll throw it on there. Arms are more for like things that I don't care if people see or if I think they're like not throwaway pieces. You know what I mean? Like I have throwaway jokes. I have throwaway tattoos. That's just what it is. I get stupid ideas and I say, let's just throw them on the legs. Who cares? It's always funny though, because people don't really, I don't wear shorts much. I do wear shorts. Like if I go play football, I'm wearing like compression pants underneath. I don't really wear shorts. So it's always funny the first time somebody sees my leg tattoo. What the hell is that on your leg? Somebody thought it was a Cynthia doll from the Rugrats. I was like, nope, it's Old Dirty Bastard as a South Park character. So not Cynthia. Good guess though, and not opposed to getting that. Oh man, it's a fun little chill episode. Last two episodes, I feel like I rambled in like an angry, jokingly angry way. So it's like a nice just conversation episode. I feel like we need that sometimes. Speaking of tattoos, I was with my boss. I think it was somebody from work. We were driving to like a mechanic or something, and there was a guy on the porch, probably his house, just hanging out, minding his business. And he was shirtless, and he had tattoos from like his face all the way down to like all the visible stuff. He was shirtless. He had pants on, so I couldn't see that. And my boss was like, "Oh yeah, that's not a gang member." She says, like I said, big white guy, probably in like a hardcore band. Swear to God, like looked like a couple people I know. And I'm just like, let me just not say anything because it's not worth the headache. But like in my head, I'm like, dude, if I had the money, I wouldn't be opposed to looking like that. Like somebody I talked about wanting to be in a gang on here just because I'd like some friends, but I'm not somebody you would mistake as a gang member. But if I cover my face and my body and arms and tattoos, I guess maybe my neck. I don't. He's like, yeah, that guy's definitely not a gang member. And I'm like, I don't. He might just play bass in a band. I don't know who that guy is. I don't care. But it was so funny because it's like he doesn't realize that like the things that he says. It's like that's like those are my friends look like that. I have like I wouldn't be opposed to just covering my whole chest and back and ribs and everything else. Like so I don't know if I just put off this image of not being that guy, but I don't try to. I don't think I do, but I don't know. That was something that made me laugh because I was like, I'm not the guy to have that conversation with. I also rambled on here about like people who blame the vaccine for like every athlete collapsing as if it's never happened before. And then the very next day he goes, oh, LeBron James. This is when Bronny went down. Bronny James went down, a healthy kid, but nobody wants to blame the vaccine. It's like literally the day before I came into work, I recorded that episode and talked about that. Like, I'm not doing this. This isn't a conversation I'm ready to have with anybody because I just genuinely don't care whether that is what caused it or isn't. 9 times out of 10, that isn't what caused it, but everybody's a doctor. My son goes to school soon. Pretty exciting. I don't know. I'm hoping he's hoping that I think he'll enjoy it. I don't know how preschool works for kids. I went to preschool. I feel like it's just play all day, right? Isn't that all it is? Like, do they actually learn anything? Is that when they start to introduce you to learning the things? That's the whole point of it, right? It's kindergarten's like your real first grade, but preschool is just to prep you for school life. I think that's all it is. So I think he'll like it. He loves hanging out with kids. So it's always funny. And I watched him like interact at a park, and he made a friend. And this kid was like probably 5-6 years old. So he's like, oh, I'll be the bandit, you be the pirate, whatever. My son's just like chasing this kid, and this kid's like, all right, you caught me, I'm in jail. And my son's like, no, dude, run. Like, I'm still just trying to chase you. He doesn't really understand the concept of like games like that yet. You know what I mean? So for that kid to be like, oh no, you got me. My son's like, why did you stop running? What are you doing? The fucking game's not over yet. You are 6 years old. I shouldn't have caught you. Run, dude. Be a bandit. And then there's a basketball court. The kid's like, come on, come play basketball. My son's like, no, I'm on the slide. Go fuck yourself. So it's fun to watch him. He loves to play, but the moment you stop doing what he wants, he's not really compromising yet. Nah, dude, I'm good. This is the game we're fucking playing right now. And I respect it because my mom will tell you I was always that kid who was like, Chris, do you want to go to here? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, why not? I don't want to go. Like, that's it. There was no, like, I was never that kid to beat around the bush, to ask my mom to make an excuse to say, hey, mom, can you just tell this kid I can't go? I don't want to let him know. I'm just like, dude, I don't want to go. I'm not fucking going. And I've always, like, even now, I'm just as stubborn with that sort of shit. So it's funny to watch him. And I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure it's just he's a busy 3-year-old. But I see that at least. And it's hilarious because that's how I was as like a younger kid. I'm probably like 7 or 8 is when you really you can really start like expressing that a little bit better. As a 3-year-old, to him, hey, we're just playing this. I just want to keep playing this. But to me, I was like, I see 7-year-old me who's like, I don't feel like doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. So I don't know. This was a fun. Liked it. I didn't like seeing Rudy Giuliani doing all that. Now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a few guests. I'm looking forward to just. I haven't really felt like I just done like a bit with somebody or just joked around or got to know. So I'm really looking forward to that. I appreciate anybody who's still listening to these solo ones. This one was a little bit more calmer, so that was probably better for all of us. And be on the lookout for T Philly coming up. Dave Totide's his event. Check that out. Follow me on Instagram, Chewin the Rag. I think it's Chewin the Rag Podcast on Instagram. Just go to ChewinTheRag.com. All the links are there. Grab a shirt, grab a hat. Absoki grabbed a really cool trucker hat. So I'm looking forward to getting one myself. I really like the way it looks. So definitely grab something from the merch store. And see you guys next week. Thank you.